Hello and welcome to Talk Down the Local, the show that goes from pub to pub across the country speaking to the punters about the subjects driving us all nuts at the moment. Tonight, we're at the Colonel Fawcett in Camden. I'm Phil Dave. Here's what's coming up.
So we've just seen the most fantastic medical advancement in the history of obesity, and you're both saying, no, I don't want it. That is absolutely outrageous.
He stole his mother's Ozempic and it worked. It's worked wonders for the boy.
It's going to become absolutely impossible to field or fence in what's real news and what's not. You know, you try and verify things, but I don't think that's going to be something that can be verified on its own.
How much faith do you have in the police?
Sting was much better on his own. Field to gold, that the song.
First order of business for this evening is let's meet our panel. Joining me is Head of Media at the IEA, Reem Ibrahim. We have also political commentator Nicholas Lissack and broadcaster Akintade. Welcome to you all.
Hello, thank you for having us.
Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be here.
It's an absolute great pleasure, believe me. Now look guys, very simple. First up, I want to have a chat with you about trigger warnings, because I saw something the other day, like, I'm not joking, it was a Disney film that came with a trigger warning.
I love Disney.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I don't need a Disney film to come with a trigger warning.
No.
And apparently it was because of very old attitudes that used to be the case in those particular films.
Yeah.
Now, we all know that there are certain films that reflect a certain period of time, and I don't know about you, but it's never put me off watching them. In fact, if anything, it just makes me look back and think, okay, fine, that's the way things used to be, but it's not the way that things are now. So I can't get my head around why on earth we need trigger warnings. Where do we think the idea of trigger warnings actually even comes from for just, it seems like everything now. My personal favourite, by the way, is when you go into a supermarket and you buy, say, a packet of peanuts and it say may contain nuts. No kidding!
The best trigger warning. Yeah, it's insane. I mean, I think what's interesting about this is I think as a society we have become so much more wrapped in cotton wool. We do not like the idea that perhaps people will not like to see things online. We saw this with the entire sort of, I think, moral panic around X and Croc, with the sort of perhaps turning women into wearing a bikini. And I think what has happened is people are unafraid and actually are so scared to see things online that they are potentially offended by.
Well, no, I think it's worse than that. I think it's because people are worried about being sued. So if they put a trigger...
Oh, you think it's a legal thing?
Yeah, I think if they put a trigger warning, they were not going to be at risk of being sued.
I think so, actually. I think, in a way, I'd like to expand on Phil's point. I think it is somewhat the result of an extremely cowardly managerial class who is absolutely terrified of losing any market share. So they try to appeal to everyone. Trigger warnings, all this woke nonsense, but actually when they little to no one.
Well, actually, Epps, that's a really good point there, because technically speaking, I put it to you, if you actually have a trigger warning, it means that you can still use content. You know, forget Disney, I'm talking about anything.
Anything.
You can use content from years ago,
Yes.
justify using it by putting a trigger warning on without running the risk of being sued. So actually, if they
If you're being
really cared about it, they wouldn't use it, right?
Well, no, I don't think so, because it's almost like apologising. It's like a backhanded compliment. It's like you're talking to someone, you're saying something bad about them, but you're kind of going, I'll apologise beforehand just to preempt the statement. Everywhere you look, there could be a trigger warning. Oh, there was that chair I sat at where I split with my ex. Does that need a trigger warning?
Yeah.
Do we now need to put a sticker on that just to... Oh, it could trigger me.
Well, you could be triggered, I suppose, if you sat with your ex. I must admit, I didn't realise you split up with your ex in this pub.
We're really sorry about that.
It was an example.
It's so true, though. I think that generally speaking, as a society, we have become so much more sensitive. And I think partly, perhaps, the suing element of this is because we have the law. I mean, if the law changed, these companies wouldn't be worried about being sued because you sue people based on the law. So perhaps we need to change the law, but also change the culture. You know what? Maybe if you go online, you will see things that you don't like, perhaps even things you may be offended by.
Yes.
Here's a wacky idea. Don't watch them.
Or if you do,
Or
change
accept
it.
Accept it.
Yeah.
Accept the fact that sometimes you're going to see things you don't like.
Yeah.
Right, well, I don't think you can change media. And also, going back to something you said earlier, something about how trigger warnings serve as preemptive apologies
Yes.
in the case of something offensive. I don't think we should apologise for the sins of our ancestors who are long dead. When society has moved forward, we know some of this old content is bad. We don't need a trigger warning to explain it like a 4-year-old would.
It's a bit like, because one of you mentioned Love of Faulty Towers, and I think...
That was me.
Isn't one of the episodes...
We forgive you.
There's only 12 episodes of Faulty Towers, and I think one of the episodes comes with not a trigger warning, but with a warning that it was maybe something to do with the Germans.
No, but they don't. This is the point. So actually, it's worse for Faulty Towers. The BBC is so. I was going to say something scared by it.
Gonna say.
The BBC are so, let's say, ship scared by it.
Yes, shit.
That unfortunately, what they've done now is they've pulled it from any platform. You would never be able to see Faulty Towers again on the BBC, and I think that's terribly sad because it is such a
brilliant
bastion
TV.
of British comedy.
What about like
And there
Gimme
is
Gimme
so
Gimme,
many-
which is also pretty
brilliant.
offensive.
Absolutely brilliant.
But hilarious, absolutely hilarious. I mean, I think I forgot the guy's name, the gay character is just so funny.
Well, so it's James Dreyfus was the one who played.
Oh my God,
Tom
he's
is the guy who's in
brilliant.
Gimme Gimme Gimme.
Well, I think
Hilarious.
for comedies to be hilarious, it must intrinsically be offensive.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about
It's
social
satire.
taboos, and we laugh at it. We laugh at the satire of civilization. We laugh at the satire of social taboos. And so, what are we going to do with trigger warnings? Ban comedy?
Well,
it's
very simple.
Have you seen those incredibly woke stand-up performances that the BBC are doing? Oh my God!
No, but
Dear Lord.
It's not funny. It's not funny. It's not funny.
Oh my God! I'd rather watch paint dry. And it's not funny at all.
I'm afraid I do have to. Well, I've got to warn you about watching paint dry. The fumes might go to your head.
Oh.
But I do have to warn you now that I'm about to go and find out what the punters think about this. So I'll see you in a sec.
Oh.
Bye.
Have you ever responded to a trigger warning?
Yeah, for sure.
How would you respond to it? Did you just turn it off?
Expletive words.
No, I know, but what I mean is, like, did you actually? I mean, like, please, you're telling me you've never sworn before.
Yeah, no,
Right.
definitely.
No, but I mean, like, sort of more about if you sort of see a program that's got a trigger warning on it, would you then turn around and say, "Oh, I'm not watching that"?
No, I'd keep watching it.
Yeah, it makes it more interesting, right?
Yeah.
Never.
Why not? You don't care about them?
I think that, no, I don't care about them. I think that if you see it on a film, there's like an 18 rated film that says there's going to be some swearing. I was like, well, yeah, that was priced in.
That's one of the reasons you go and watch it, right?
No, that would be weird, but it'd be a weird motivation to go and watch a film. I can hear swearing everywhere, but
That's very true.
But no, I don't just watch random things. So if you get trigger warnings, I was going to have this, and I'm like, oh, I'm surprised that I was going. If it's on Neighbours or EastEnders, yeah, maybe, but
Neighbours, you're living in the past. It got axed in December, didn't it?
no, don't tell me
I know,
that.
it's terrible. It's shocking.
Wait,
No more Ramsey Street.
no,
Very
it
upset.
must still exist. It's a physical place. Just as the TV show is not there anymore.
That's true.
It was a real place.
It was, yeah.
They were real people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, don't tell me this.
Never. I've never responded, mainly because it doesn't really affect which movie I will see or which series. I find it intriguing to understand what is actually being classified as over 15 or something like that. But apart from that, it doesn't bother me, or I'm not concerned with it.
You know, Chris, the producer, always thinks I start off each question with okay, so I'm going to say okay. Let's move on now to how do we?
Okay.
He'll edit that later. And say, no, you won't actually. It's fine. But I will say, I want to know how we get a grip on fake news. This is something that has driven me bonkers for so long now, is I can't get my head around the fact that there is so much misinformation out there online, and actually it's now starting to infiltrate some of the mainstream media outlets, talk excluded, by the way. But the point being that this is how bad this pandemic of fake news is. How are we supposed to get a grip on it?
You can't, because we're in the age of, you only have to look on social media. I know, Phil, you're off it, which is good for you. Cleanse.
Social media completely.
Completely.
He's
I have
cleansed.
nothing more to do
You're a
with
wiser
social
man than Reem and I.
Yeah, we are not
And
wise
me.
people.
Oh, we're
But
not.
we are one day apart.
Well, I was just
Yes,
Reem,
we are.
Reem might be wise, but I don't think she's a man. I don't know, you might actually how do you identify?
It is 2026.
Yeah, you can identify
As
however
whatever you
want.
like.
I'd just like to say talk will issue a trigger warning before that statement.
That's true.
But with artificial intelligence, I think it's going to become absolutely impossible to field or fence in what's real news and what's not. You know, you try and verify things, but I don't think that's going to be something that can be verified on its own, because stories will just create other stories, and you have to filter out what you believe and what you don't. I think as we go further into the future, it's going to be more difficult. I bet there's going to be a time when BBC News will report a news story that is completely not true.
They already have. They
honest,
have done that.
To be honest,
Yeah.
they've done quite a good job with their Gaza coverage, I
Well,
think.
absolutely.
Allegedly. Anyway.
Controversial.
I would say I actually disagree. I think that one of the best technological advancements that has ever occurred is X and community nodes. Community nodes have been so effective at getting rid of misinformation, or at least providing context to so many statements that actually are just not true. So I actually think that
that is very wrong.
Because then sometimes what happens, you get community notes that turn around and says, well, this person reports that actually this didn't happen when it might have happened. So actually community notes.
Yes, and
but
furthermore,
it provides context for people that are thinking critically for themselves, and I think it's really important that you understand.
Yeah, but not entirely though. Not entirely though, because even Musk has pointed out. Well, even Musk has pointed out the community notes is currently experiencing a hostile takeover from left-wing groups who use it to
Stop taking over Twitter.
from hostile left-wing groups who use it.
I don't touch it. I am.
Well, he's right. Well, left-wing groups are taking over community notes.
Sorry,
en masse.
Truth Social. There you go. That's it.
Never in my life.
Oh, Truth Social is the best. I love it. But there is a real issue with organised left-wing activism within community notes, and even Musk admits that. And the question is, how on earth are we able to solve that? Because there are some issues, as you point out, some stories that may be, entirely correct, but from a left-wing Guardian perspective, it is not.
But how brilliant is it that with community notes you can have the context of both, so you as an individual can make the decision: do you agree with the person that's been tweeting, or do you agree with the community note? You can make that choice, and I think that's wonderful.
Yes, but some community notes are astonishingly unfair and petty.
But that's fine. You can make the choice about whether you believe that or whether you believe the actual tweet.
No, but it's also rather harmful because it actually tags into revenue. And what left-wing organisations are doing, they're getting involved in community notes and they're brigading right-wing accounts, targeting them, so they lose Twitter ad revenue.
That's fine. That's the market.
Well, I know it's the market, but however, some of these...
If people don't like what you post and people don't like the fact that you're posting certain things and you lose ad revenue, that's the market. You just got to get better at tweeting.
I know, I'm simply referring to organised left-wing groups that purposely put out fake community notes to take revenue
That's
away
fine.
from people.
Let people choose what they want to.
Eb, should we just go home already?
Oh my God, yeah, just
Okay, stop.
cheers.
Where do you get your news from and why?
Probably still more the paper than anywhere. I'm not on sort of social media or anything, so...
Oh, man after my own heart. Well done.
Yeah, the tube mainly, or the bus. You get the free metro, so...
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, that's great. Yeah, because the metro doesn't cost anything, does it?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. No, so, but do you ever, sort of read anything sort of on forums or anything like that and just think, nah, no, I don't believe this?
No.
If I do, typically, similarly to my good friend here, Lee, I don't really watch the news daily. I do listen to Radio 4, sometimes on a Sunday morning.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm
good on you.
You're like your typical Radio 4 listener, but yeah.
I'm not going to lie, no.
Yeah, well, there you go.
It takes all sorts.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, well done.
But yeah,
Good on
thank
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get my news mainly from Instagram Reels because it's accessible. I love it. It's the most addictive thing ever.
But do you believe it, though?
Yeah, I do. A lot of it's AI these days. AI is going to bring us down, but it's entertaining.
You seem very calm about this, that AI is going to bring us down. That was very nonchalant.
I don't mind. I don't mind.
Great, okay. Flipping heck, this is all thirsty work talking to this rabble, honestly. And as for you two, I think it's time now for a round and a rant. Oh, my goodness me. Right, this is thirsty work, this malarkey. Could I please get 1 Peroni, 2 Moretti, double spiced rum and Coke, and an Amstel. There you go. Perfect. Thank you. So, I don't know about you. Litter, chewing gum, UK, what is wrong with you? What the heck happened to keep Britain tidy? Because I know full well that this great nation of ours was never known for being spotless, okay? I get it. You go to somewhere like Japan or Korea or something like that, and you see the most incredible spotless pavement that you can almost eat off of. But more recently, I have just seen people literally leaving their litter lying around. I've seen people drop tissues on the floor when they blow their nose. I've even seen one person on public transport clipping their toenails, for crying out loud. What the heck happened to keep Britain tidy? We are a mess. We need to smarten up. Come on, UK, get your act together, and please just throw your litter in the bin.
Hell yeah! Thank you very, very
Blooming
much.
heck. Do you know what? 4 pints and a spiced rum and coke is quite heavy, actually. Right, so Reem, I know you're having an was it a Moretti?
Moretti.
Birra Moretti. That's it. I don't call it Amoretti. That's a bit weird, isn't it? Right, Moretti for you.
What's Moretti?
I don't flipping know. I don't drink this stuff. And then you've got an Amstel,
which is for me.
you. Ebs,
Thank
lovely.
you very much.
And then producer Chris is having his usual double spiced rum and coke. There you go. Thanks, Chris. There you go. Thank you, Chris.
Go,
And I will
Chris.
just have a Peroni just because I'm nice like that. Okay. Right. Okay, now we've had a top up. This is better. Okay, so next one is that unfortunately, every time I drink a pint, I'm very aware of that I might be drinking a few liquid calories. And so I couldn't help but notice that one of the fashions of this day and age is that of weight loss jabs. So I was thinking, and thinking's dangerous, but do we think weight loss jabs could be the answer to the obesity problem that this country and the world over faces?
Yes, absolutely, unequivocally, it is the case.
Absolutely not.
Obesity.
I agree with Reem.
Hang on.
I love you. Obesity kills. Massive.
Hang on, Ebbs is strong about this. Why? Why, Ebbs? You said absolutely not. Why not?
So what we're saying, you can eat yourself into oblivion, and then take a weight loss jab to get rid of all of it as an easy shortcut solution? Absolutely not.
Sorry. Obesity kills thousands of people every single year, and you're saying, here's the solution.
Stop shoving food in your gob is the obvious thing.
It's very easy for you to say that, but many people clearly don't. It's costing the NHS literally millions of pounds.
It is.
Get me started on that.
Here we have a solution. Why not use it? Why not
But why
say
is
yes?
it? Yes, but it's not a blanket reason why everyone or some people are obese. Some people are obese because medically they are. Some people are because they eat
It's because
too
they
much.
eat too much. That's it. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
You're fat because you eat too much. Here we have an injection that will stop you from shoving so much food in your gob. Take it.
But human beings,
Why
human
should we
beings,
do that? I
human
don't-
beings
Because
have
it's
existed.
better for their health. They will less likely to have
What's
high
better for their
cholesterol
health?
No,
Is
and
to turn around and say, no, I'm not going to eat
also
this
live in an
stuff.
astonishingly lookist world where aesthetics matter, and frankly, and this has been proven through studies, thin people are more likely to get jobs to be economically productive.
That's true. There is an economic argument.
I mean, look, I present this show, I'm just saying. So, I don't think that would... Look, no, but I'm being serious, okay? I just don't understand sort of why we think there has to be a quick fix. It's
Because
not
it saves
easy,
lives.
Luz.
Because it
but it's
literally
not,
saves
but there
lives.
is no such thing as a quick fix. And as far as I'm concerned, the weight
But-
loss
but
jab,
it is
all
an
we're
actual quick
hearing...
fix.
Yeah, but
It
all we're
literally
hearing
is.
about...
You know what I'm saying? You're saying this is not a quick fix. No. This literally
Yes.
is a fix that will
but then what-
save
hang on.
millions of lives across this country of people that are putting too much food in their mouth.
Reem, I
into
value my
poison.
hearing. Look, it's not the point. What I'm trying to get at, okay, is that it's very simple. As soon we hear these stories about, as soon as people come off of these weight loss jabs, that they're starting to put the pounds
Don't get
back
off it
on.
then.
So, but that's not
Keep it.
feasible. Some people can't afford it. What? So we're going to start
Well,
putting on the
at least-
NHS?
At the
What?
very least, those people have lost the weight that will mean that they are more likely to have a heart attack. They're more likely to have high cholesterol. They're more likely to have all
Yes,
of the things
Reem,
in their
But
body.
what do you think is
All
going to
of
happen
this.
to their body
So
when they
why-
start eating the same food again?
Why don't, sorry. Do you not want people's lives to be saved?
Yeah, but people have to be responsible for themselves as
I
well.
agree. Be responsible. So take the jab and be responsible.
Take the
No,
jab
but
and
I-
don't eat like a pig once you've lost the weight.
Exactly.
Show some
Sorry,
commitment.
we've just seen the most fantastic medical advancement in the history of obesity, and you're both saying, no, I don't want it. That is absolutely outrageous.
Because we've lived as
want
humans
it.
for long enough without Ozempic and without the other ones, Manjaro.
Yes.
So we've lived for long enough, and some people have remained slim
now-
without having to have Manjaro.
Absolutely. And look, and I think that if you have become morbidly obese as a result of eating too much, that is absolutely your problem and nobody else's. However, we now have one of the most medically advanced solutions that will stop people from eating too much. Why would you say no? I think we shouldn't have it.
Because it makes them
It's
lazy.
giving the wrong message. It's
Yeah,
a really wrong
it
message
is a
to say
total
to people.
message.
Sorry,
if
you
what
don't
we're
want
saying
lives
is,
to be saved.
Reem, this is a conversation on Rant. If people were to say,
You don't
that
want lives to be saved.
if I didn't say
You
that,
want to
I
kill
said-
people. You want obesity to kill people.
not people in the plural. Anyway, look, it's very simple. If people want to have a bad
Dear Lord, Phil.
if people,
Is that a death threat? You'll get arrested now.
Phil.
anyway, if
Death
people,
threat against a minority woman? Oh my god.
Ethnic minority, young state school
I'm an
educated
ethnic
woman.
minority. I might be white. It doesn't matter. Anyway,
It's current year, you can identify as what you want.
anyway, my point being.
I could be trans.
Oh, God's sake.
Oh my god.
Fortunately, this show is only half hour. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at is that it sends a very bad message to the next generation of people that says, eat whatever you want. If you bloat up to the point where you unfortunately are risking your health, don't worry, it's fine. Shove a needle in you and then it will reset. Or what we could do, the messaging, all the messaging could be... All the messaging could be that we actually teach people in the first place how to eat healthy and don't get into that situation.
We've tried that. We've tried that.
But we're not strict enough.
No, we've tried educating people, and unfortunately, people don't have self-control. Here is a jab that gives people self-control.
No, but Reem, in all seriousness,
gives people self-control. Why are you saying?
Because in all seriousness, it all comes down to education, and I think the education of it is.
Education hasn't worked. People still eat too much.
But we don't give up. We don't give up. You say it hasn't worked. In some economic climates, some people who can't afford to have better food or just live on fast food, it comes.
So the people that can afford it, why not let them have it?
What do you mean?
The people that can afford the weight loss jabs, why are you saying they shouldn't have it?
Because it sends out the wrong message, as Phil said.
That's absolute rubbish.
And the wrong the rubbish is of what they're
eating. You want them to die of obesity?
No, I want them to have more self-control and to be more educated as
but they don't have self-control.
Well, but then they can be taught and it can be reiterated.
And they'll die of obesity because you don't want them to have the weight.
But they have to take control of themselves.
Like, another example, it's almost like you're saying, don't take the COVID jab. You're too lazy to fight the virus yourself. You know?
No, that's different.
Right, I'm asking the punters what they think. Do you know anyone who's ever used a weight loss jab, and would you trust them? I don't mean the people, I mean the weight loss jab.
Yes, I know quite a lot of people that have used the weight loss jab. No, I don't trust them.
How come?
Because it's unknown, and there are now, from what I understand, maybe studies that are coming out showing that it helps you actually gain weight a lot faster after being on the said drugs.
So, both of us went to school with a boy, and if you're watching, do we have to do another take?
We'll have to bleep that out!
Anyway, he stole his mother's Ozempic, and it worked. It's worked wonders for the boy. It's worked wonders. He's recently posted on Instagram. This is big for him. He doesn't post very often.
He's not big anymore.
He's not big anymore. He's lost it all. Thanks to... She looks amazing on the Ozempic, by the way. If you're listening to this, wow.
I know someone that has used. No, I don't trust them.
Why not?
He gained the weight when he stopped, and I think there are healthier ways, depending on the case.
So I agree. You see, I'm a bit worried about them personally, because I think that they may be a quick fix, but is it a long-term fix? And surely that's what matters, right?
Well, sometimes you need a quick fix for health reasons.
Well, we are in a pub. Oh, I see. Sorry. Yeah. You mean a quick fix of weight. Sorry. Yes. So, the other day, I was having a chat with the Rants, also known as the parents. And they were harking back to a time when they were talking about bobbies on the beat. And we started getting into a bit of a debate about sort of saying whether or not police actually patrolling the streets would make any sort of difference in this day and age. Because I was saying, I don't see how it could do. Because actually half the problem is that there is no suitable punishment anymore. So even if you have bobbies on the beat, I don't actually reckon that would make much odds. So I want to know from you guys, what difference would bobbies on the beat actually make?
I don't think it would make very much of a difference, and part of the problem is the police are so focused on the wrong issues. And I mean, this is ultimately a problem with the law, but the fact that on average about 33 people a day are arrested for online speech crimes, and the police are so focused, and this is not individual policemen's fault, but it's actually the Metropolitan Police as a whole, the police system as a whole, and it's the law.
But I don't think it's just the Met Police, to be fair. I mean, obviously we're like in London at the moment, but you look at the country over.
Oh, it's a problem across the entire country, and actually Thames Valley Police have been specifically quite bad for this as well. But there are specific police forces.
I'm sure in their absence they would deny anything Reem is saying about the Metropolitan Police and Thames Valley.
They arrest people for speech crimes. On average, it's 33 people a day, and that's where the focus is. And clearly, evidently, all of the crimes, the real crimes, the rapes, the murders have all been solved because the police are so focused on what we're saying rather than what people are actually doing to hurt people.
But isn't there scope for technically both? Because I don't want people to think they can get away with saying whatever the heck they want. I'm all for free speech, but at the same time, if someone is, say, for example, inciting violence, on social media, I don't want people to just be excused for that just because it's on social media.
I don't believe that 33 people a day are doing that. And for example, Lucy Connolly, who was arrested for one single tweet where effectively what she said was she was extraordinarily upset about the Southport murders and was extremely upset about the fact that there were asylum seekers in hotels. Now, she was obviously incorrect and fell into the misinformation, but she was a random mother who had absolutely no idea.
Let's
what
be
the
honest, she
factual
wasn't
information
random. Look at who her other half was.
Well, okay, fine. She was a partner of a Tory councillor, but she was, in all respects, a very boring person. Right, not very much going for her in terms of the politics of this. And what had actually
That's what it
happened
says on my dating.
But she was given a sentence of 31 months for that one.
No, I know, and I think we can get into the whole Lucy Connolly thing and agree that most of people think it is shocking. But my point in particular is when we're talking about bobbies on the beat, would that really make much of a difference to
But
what we're
this is
seeing
the point.
today?
We do not have free speech in this country, and so police are so focused on what they can do, which is looking at online social media posts rather than actually solving the crimes that matter to people. Robberies, burglaries, having your phone snatched, all of these things matter. So honestly, I don't think having bobbies on the beat will make any difference at all because those police are not focused on the real issues that matter.
But Nick, don't you think though, to be fair, that if we have bobbies on the beat, then maybe there might be a chance of less chances thinking that they would be able to nick a mobile phone?
I'm going to be honest with you, I simply don't think the criminal class in this country give a toss. I don't think they care. I think irrespective of how many bobbies on the beat there will still be phone nickings, there will still be crime. I mean, hell, I was assaulted a few months ago, and at Oswald Station, CCTV all over the place, police still haven't even got CCTV yet. It's ridiculous. I mean, police
obviously, I'm really sorry to hear that. Of course I am. But
I may as well say, on another note, I'm going to fully endorse outsourcing policing to the private sector. We've actually seen this in many London boroughs.
I did not expect to hear something so sound come out of your mouth, Nicholas.
Well, I'm full of surprises.
Ebbs is chomping at the bit here. Look at the state. Ebbs, can you help me out?
That's the saddest thing I've ever heard you say.
Hang on, right. Okay. Don't you two kick off again. Look, I don't know about you, Ebbs, but I personally remember when there were more police on the street. And I used to, when growing up, I used to be scared of them. I used to actually have respect for the police. I'm not so sure I do now.
But I just don't think there's the resources now to have a policeman on every corner. I think it's an ideal, but it's.
But where's the money?
But it's where's the money? Where's the staffing?
Theresa May.
And we're going to go back to Theresa May.
Well, she was the one who asked about 20,000 police officers. One of the first things she did as PM.
But I think, as Reem said, I think the police are focusing more on what they can almost control in terms of online as opposed to the outer control, which is out there.
It's the easy stuff. You can easily prove that Lucy Connolly posted that tweet
because there's a
from her
thread.
account.
There's a thread. There's
physical evidence.
Yes.
Which is why I am so surprised by the lack of support that the police have really given people that have also online crimes, things like fake dating profiles, things like misinformation or indeed, impersonation. All of those things the police are still utterly abysmal with. I know because I've got a case open about one.
Which we won't talk about if it's a case.
Of course not.
The police have been utterly abysmal with all of this stuff. But I think part of the problem is there are far too many things that are illegal. And I think that actually, for example, you may disagree with me on this, Nicholas. I don't think marijuana should be illegal.
Don't matter.
It's a lot.
I thought we'd had a breakthrough.
I don't think that marijuana should be illegal.
Oh, I'm not getting into this. Right, I'm going off to find out what the Punters think. How much faith do you have in the police?
Whoa. No faith. I'm sorry.
Superb.
I would like to have loads, but unfortunately, I'm from Spain, and in there, it's like a lot of corruption, things like this. So I'm really not into the police. I don't have a lot of faith, unfortunately.
Yeah, certainly the Met Police have a tough job, like a really tough job. I do trust them in their role, typically. They have a lot to deal with and they're deeply underfunded. On the whole, I would say I do trust them to make a good call when they need to. There are some bad apples that need sorting out.
Sting was much better on his own. Fields of Gold's a better song.
Oh, well, I don't know about you. I think this has been absolutely exhausting this evening. But anyway, unfortunately, that's all we've got time for. So all that's left for me to do... I know, it's R, isn't it? It's a bit like panto, isn't it? Let's try that again. That's all we've got time for. So all that's left for me to do is to say huge thanks to Akintade, to Nicholas Lissack, and of course to Reem, Ibrahim, and to you at home for watching. Until next time, please remember, drink responsibly. To the staff here at the Colonel Fawcett, huge thanks to them for hosting us. To all the punters, who put up with the nonsense and chatting to us as well. Just basically, what can I say other than cheers?
Cheers.